He didn't hesitate. He didn't stutter. He didn't correct himself. He ranked his ex-wives, by respect, on national television. And in that one calm, calculated moment, he confirmed everything they had been saying for years. For over a decade, the audience watched three women slowly unravel inside a marriage that never felt equal. He denied favoritism. He called it jealousy. He blamed misunderstandings. But when the question finally came, simple, almost harmless, who was your favorite ex-wife? Something shifted. His ego stepped forward. And instead of dodging it, he built a hierarchy. First place. Second place. Last place. As if he were discussing staff performance instead of women who gave him children, loyalty, and decades of their lives. And the most painful part? He delivered it casually, like it was reasonable. Like this was how normal husbands speak about former wives. Christine, the woman who carried 6 of his children, who held that family together for 25 years, was placed at the bottom. Least respected. Not equal. Not close. Last. This is the same man who insisted he loved them all the same. But love doesn't create rankings. Ego does. And the interviewer knew exactly what she was doing. She didn't challenge him. She didn't interrupt. She let him speak. Because sometimes silence is the sharpest weapon. When someone feels comfortable enough, they expose themselves. He explained his reasoning in a way he probably thought sounded logical. One wife was respected more because she didn't complain. Another ranked higher because she was independent and didn't demand much. The one at the bottom? She wanted partnership. She wanted presence. She wanted a husband who actually showed up. In his world, that was the problem. That's when you realize something chilling. In his vocabulary, respect doesn't mean admiration. It means compliance. The quieter you are, the higher you rank. The more you tolerate, the more valuable you become. The woman who asked for emotional intimacy? Too much. The one who endured distance silently? Acceptable. The one who stayed despite rejection? Most respected. That isn't love. That's control disguised as structure. Then came the speech about his current marriage. He described it as deeper, spiritual, elevated. He claimed people attacked him simply for loving her. As if the issue was love, not imbalance. As if viewers imagined the disproportionate time, energy, and protection poured into one relationship while the others slowly starved. He spoke as though he were persecuted. As though he were misunderstood. But what he accidentally admitted was far more revealing than any accusation ever made against him. Christine didn't leave impulsively. She left because she understood her value wasn't equal. Janelle didn't walk away out of confusion. She walked away from a system where she would never come first. And the wife he claimed to respect most? He emotionally detached from her for over a decade. Respect without affection. Respect without effort. Respect without intimacy. That's not respect. That's convenience. What makes this moment unforgettable isn't just the ranking. It's that he believed it defended him. He genuinely thought explaining his hierarchy would justify his behavior. Instead, it confirmed the very favoritism he spent years denying. And the children were watching. Imagine hearing your father calmly explain that your mother was least respected. Imagine processing that publicly. That isn't something you forget. That isn't something you forgive easily. There's a reason the reaction online exploded. Because viewers weren't shocked by the favoritism, they were shocked he finally admitted it. Calmly, confidently, without realizing what he'd done. And here's the irony no one can ignore. The 3 women he ranked are thriving. New beginnings. New peace. New confidence. Meanwhile, the marriage he called divine looks strained. Because being the favorite only feels powerful when someone else is beneath you. Remove the competition, and reality becomes unavoidable. For years, he controlled the narrative. He positioned himself as misunderstood. He framed criticism as persecution. But one carefully placed question dismantled that control. No yelling. No confrontation. Just truth slipping out in real time. And once it's said on camera, it's permanent. He built a family on hierarchy, on comparison, on subtle imbalance. And in a single interview, he revealed the structure out loud. The respect rankings weren't just an opinion. They were a confession. And sometimes the most shocking moments aren't explosive, they're quiet, delivered in a calm tone, with absolute certainty, because that's when you realize it wasn't a mistake. It was always the truth that he didn't lose control. He didn't get pressured. He exposed himself. On national television. One simple question, and everything collapsed. For years, he denied it. Said there was no favoritism. Said the marriages failed because the wives gave up. Said he tried equally, loved equally, sacrificed equally. But when the interviewer calmly asked, "Who was your favorite ex-wife?" something changed in his posture. You could almost see the calculation. And then, instead of refusing, instead of saying he wouldn't rank them, he did exactly that. He created a list. Most respected, moderately respected, least respected. Like he was discussing staff in a boardroom instead of women who gave him children and decades of loyalty. And the most heartbreaking part? He said it so casually. No emotion. No hesitation. Like this was completely reasonable. Christine, the woman who carried 6 of his children, who supported his dreams, who defended plural marriage for 25 years, was placed at the bottom. Least respected. Let that sink in. The same man who claimed he loved them equally just admitted he valued them differently. That wasn't a slip. That was honesty slipping through ego. The interviewer didn't interrupt him. She didn't challenge him. She let him keep talking. Because sometimes the most powerful strategy isn't confrontation, it's silence. And the more he explained, the worse it sounded. He said he respected one wife more because she didn't complain. Respected another because she was independent and didn't demand much. The one he respected least? She wanted partnership. She wanted presence. She wanted a husband who actually showed up for her and her children. In his world, that made her difficult. Do you see it? Respect, in his language, doesn't mean admiration. It means compliance. The quieter you are, the higher you rank. The more you tolerate, the more worthy you become. The wife who endured distance silently? Higher tier. The wife who asked for emotional intimacy? Bottom tier. That's not respect. That's control. Then he shifted the conversation to his current marriage. Called it deeper. Called it spiritual. Said people attacked him for loving her. As if the issue was love, not imbalance. Because viewers didn't imagine what they saw for years. One house received the majority of his time. One relationship received protection. One wife received the emotional presence the others begged for. And now, sitting calmly in that tell-all chair, he accidentally confirmed what audiences suspected for 2 decades. Christine didn't leave impulsively. She left because she understood her position. Janelle didn't walk away out of confusion. She walked away from a system where she would always be second choice. And the wife he claimed to respect most? He emotionally detached from her for more than a decade. Respect without affection. Instead, it confirmed the favoritism he spent years denying. And imagine being one of the children, watching this. Imagine hearing your father calmly explain that your mother was least respected. That's not something you hear. That's not something you easily forgive. Online reaction was immediate. Not because viewers were shocked favoritism existed, but because he finally admitted it himself. Confidently, calmly, publicly. For years he controlled the narrative. Framed himself as misunderstood. Claimed criticism was unfair. But one carefully placed question dismantled that control in minutes. And here's the irony. The women he ranked are thriving now. New peace. New independence. New beginnings. Meanwhile, the marriage he called divine looks strained under pressure. Because being the favorite only feels powerful when someone else is beneath you. Remove the competition, and reality starts speaking louder. But this was only part 1. Because what he says next, about love, loyalty, and why he believes he's the real victim, changes everything again. And it gets even worse. If you thought the rankings were the worst part, they weren't. Because after calmly placing his former wives into tiers of respect, he did something even more revealing. He made himself the victim. Instead of acknowledging the imbalance, instead of admitting that maybe, just maybe, years of obvious favoritism caused damage, He claimed he was being punished. Punished for loving one wife more. Think about that. Not regret. Not reflection. Not accountability. Persecution. He described his current marriage as elevated. Spiritual. On a higher level than anything he had before. He said people attacked him because they couldn't understand the depth of that connection. But here's the contradiction. If the love was always equal, how could one suddenly be divine? You can't preach equality for 20 years and then casually announce one relationship was superior all along. That wasn't just a contradiction. That was a confession. He admitted he was tired of being guilt for loving her. Tired of criticism. Tired of defending himself. But no one was attacking love. They were questioning neglect. While one household received full attention, others were rationed. While one marriage thrived, others starved quietly on camera. And now, years later, he speaks as though he's the wounded one. Christine begged for partnership. He called her dramatic. Janelle asked for fairness. He called her disloyal. Another wife stayed despite emotional distance. He called that respect. Notice the pattern? The wives who endured silently were praised. The wife who finally said enough was demoted. That's when everything clicks. He doesn't measure love by effort. He measures it by obedience. If you comply, you're valued. If you challenge him, you drop in rank. And the most uncomfortable part? He truly believes he's justified. During the interview, there was no visible self-awareness. No moment of maybe I shouldn't say this. Just confidence. Calm delivery. As if millions of viewers wouldn't dissect every word. And they did. Because this wasn't just about hurt feelings anymore. This was about validation. For years, fans debated whether favoritism was real. Whether the wives were exaggerating. Whether editing made it look worse than it was. But no edit can create a ranking system out of thin air. He did that himself. And now the consequences feel heavier. Because children are older. They understand. They watch clips online. They read comments. They see their mothers publicly evaluated. You can't rebuild trust after that. And here's where it becomes painfully ironic. The very dynamic that made his current marriage feel powerful, the comparison, the hierarchy, the sense of winning, no longer exists. There are no other wives left to outrank. No one left to feel superior to. And suddenly, the pressure shifts inward. Because when you remove competition, you expose compatibility. And from the outside, cracks are showing. Tension. Distance. Subtle discomfort. The divine language sounds different now. Less convincing. Less confident. It's easy to feel chosen when others are being ignored. It's much harder when you're the only one left. And maybe that's the quiet twist unfolding in real time. The women he ranked? They look lighter. Christine radiates relief. Janelle looks unburdened. The wife he claimed to respect most finally chose herself. No hierarchy. No competition. No waiting for attention. Meanwhile, he's defending a narrative that unravels every time he speaks. The interviewer didn't need to attack him. She simply asked. And he answered. That's what makes this so powerful. No shouting. No dramatic confrontation. Just truth slipping out because ego couldn't resist the spotlight. And if this is what came out in part 1, if this is how much he revealed without pressure, then what happens when deeper questions come? Because there are still conversations about finances, about custody, about estranged children, about decisions that can't be explained away with divine love. Part 3 isn't just another episode. It's a test. And history shows one thing very clearly. When he keeps talking, he keeps confessing. But instead of slowing down, instead of choosing his words carefully, he doubled down. He insisted he had tried. Insisted he had sacrificed. Insisted the breakdown of 3 marriages wasn't about favoritism. It was about loyalty. Loyalty. That word kept coming up. According to him, the real issue wasn't unequal treatment. It wasn't emotional absence. It wasn't the visible shift in energy toward one household. It was obedience. If they had followed his lead, if they had supported his authority, if they had trusted his decisions without question, things would have worked. That's the narrative he tried to sell. But here's what makes it unravel. Love isn't proven through silence. Respect isn't earned through fear. And loyalty isn't submission. When he spoke about the wives who left, there was no genuine heartbreak. No deep reflection. Just frustration that they didn't stay in line. That's not a man mourning lost love. That's a man angry he lost control. And viewers felt the shift instantly, because for the first time, the mask didn't just slip, it cracked. He talked about how hard it was to be criticized, how exhausting it felt to defend his choices, how unfair the public had been. But nowhere in that speech was a simple sentence, "I hurt them." Not once. Instead, he framed himself as misunderstood, overworked, underappreciated. And that's when everything became crystal clear. The rankings weren't accidental. The hierarchy wasn't unconscious. The imbalance wasn't imagined. It was structured, built into the foundation of how he saw relationships. One at the top, one in the middle, one at the bottom. And once that system collapsed, he didn't lose love. He lost power. Meanwhile, the women he once evaluated are building lives that don't require his approval. Christine chose joy, and it shows. Janelle chose independence, and it shows. The wife he claimed to respect most finally chose peace, and it shows. None of them are asking to be ranked anymore. And maybe that's the most poetic outcome of all. Because the moment he tried to explain himself, he revealed something irreversible. He doesn't see partnership. He sees order. He doesn't measure connection. He measures compliance. And now the audience sees it too. That tell-all chair was meant to defend him. Instead, it documented him. Every calm sentence. Every confident explanation. Every contradiction. Permanent. This wasn't just television drama. It was a public character reveal. And here's the reality no one can ignore. You cannot rank people you claim to love and expect them to stay. You cannot call something divine while others feel discarded. You cannot build a family on hierarchy and act shocked when it collapses. Part 3 didn't give him redemption. It gave viewers clarity. And sometimes clarity is louder than confrontation. If you followed this story from the beginning, you just witnessed the moment the narrative flipped for good. Because when someone shows you exactly how they see people, believe them. And this time, he showed everyone. If you want deeper breakdowns, psychological analysis, and the moments mainstream coverage misses, stay tuned. Because when ego speaks freely, truth always slips out. And this story? It's far from over.